You're listening to WHFS Bethesda, Maryland, and we're talking to Randy Hansen, who is down at the Cellar door with his tribute to Jimi Hendrix. Hi, Randy.
How you doing?
How's it going so far with this?
It seems to be going pretty good.
Uh-huh.
People seem to be turning out all right, and getting enough people in to see the shows and stuff. We're having a really good time doing it, too. It's just excellent.
We share, I guess, the same mutual musical interest. Jimi, of course, is a legend in his own time, and I'm sure no one will forget him in rock and roll. But what gave you the idea to take this on?
I don't know. It kind of evolved out of a lot of different things. There was nothing. It couldn't seem to generate any interest in the. Everybody's trying to tell me in Seattle, where I'm from, that rock was dying and stuff, and I just, hey, it's not dying. It's just people aren't listening anymore. People aren't writing songs the way they used to anymore and stuff, and it's just not as new as it used to be. And so I just wanted to get that interest back going again, and then then after we get the interest going, with the Hendrix thing, I really dug Jimi Hendrix when I was really young. I thought he was, as far as the word, quote, rock star, I thought he was probably the antithesis of the word, I thought he was earned the right to be called a rock star, him and some other people, they're real pioneers,
I'm sure you're subject to ridicule, and people think that you're imitating Jimi, just like people that are, when Elvis died, that you had a series of imitators who came along, but you don't consider yourself in that category.
I just call it entertainment.
That's great. I've had the pleasure of talking to Steve Stills and Johnny Winter and Randy California, all who have played with Jimi, and Link Ray, who lives around here, and he's played with Jimi. And
Randy California came out and saw us play when we were in California.
Yeah.
In fact,
he was in a band with Jimi in the very beginning. He told me out that way.
Yeah, we learned a lot from him.
Is it true that Jimi would string his guitar backwards and I don't know, he had some unusual techniques with his playing, but do you do that also, string your guitar backwards?
I got a left-handed guitar. I play right-handed. That's kind of unusual, but it's like the same thing Hendrix did, only it's a mirror image of what he did. I mean, it's like if I was to put this guitar on and look in a mirror, you would see what you saw when you saw Jimi Hendrix play.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to see him play when he was here in Washington, and as I said, I followed his career. He used to always have the soft machine opening up for him. That's when the Experience were playing. If you could get those guys together, you'd really have it down to a T.
Really? I'd like to jam with Mitch Mitchell and Noel Redding.
How about Mitch and Noel? Do they know what you're doing? Are they hip to it?
Yeah, I guess they do know what I'm doing. But they got their own things together going right now. They're getting back into it again. I know. I guess Mitch got out of it for a while, because metal hassles and stuff, and there's just a lot of people, trying to get in his pockets and stuff, and he had to get himself free, start all over again. So I guess he's starting all over.
Right. What did you think about Crash Landing and the tapes that were assembled after Jimi's death?
I like the Hendrix parts of it.
Really?
Yeah, I really do. I could see why he didn't want it released, because there are certain things on there that if it was me, I wouldn't have wanted it released either, because there's certain mistakes, and when you go into a studio, you go in for perfection, and they were far from perfect, but they did the best they could with them, I think. There was a couple of things I would have done different if they would have been my tapes, but they aren't my tapes.
Why don't we listen to some early Jimi Hendrix and then come back and talk some more, okay?
Right.
This is WHFS Bethesda, Maryland. We're talking to Randy Hansen, and he's down at the Cellar door with his tribute to Jimi Hendrix. You have 3 people playing with you, just like the old Experience. Would you like to tell us who they are?
Bass player is Larry Epperly. Him and I have been playing together ever since high school. And let me see, I've known him ever since junior high school. The drummer answered an ad in the paper, another band I used to be in.
What was that?
Band called Kid Chrysler and the Cruisers. We did a 50s rock type thing, greased our hair back and stuff. It was a comedy lounge routine. We weren't headed for anywhere. We were just making money. And he answered the ad for that when we were in need of a drummer. And then when all of us were in the same band at once, that band disbanded, or the keyboard player kind of put together, he was the head of the group, he decided he wanted a different group, and he figured that I was going off on a different road musically than he was, so he figured I should get my own band. And so the drummer and the bass player stayed with me, and he got another band together.
You're received pretty well out west, I understand that Jimmy's father showed up at one of the shows or something?
Yeah, Jimmy's dad showed up at Paramount Theater in Seattle, and he came out and he said, he sat in the front row of the whole show, and here I am playing, his son's music to him, and I'm playing his son, dressed up like him and everything, trying to look like him and everything. And he came backstage, and we were riding up this elevator up to the dressing room, and we got to the top floor, where the dressing room was, and he goes, "After you, Jimmy." And I go, "Oh wow." Thanks. And I sat down. I talked to him for about an hour and a half, and he's just nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. He just, "Hey, come on over to my house anytime you want, and just have a beer or something." It was a really cool guy.
But as you said before, you think the music today it's stagnant. It's not offering what...
Not all of it. I think it's getting better. I think they're like... It started to get so complex after a while that rock was killing itself because the people couldn't listen to it anymore because they didn't understand it. So, I could get into it because I'm a musician. I haven't, and when you're a musician, you have a little bit better understanding of what another musician is trying to do. It's like an artist can take some obscure painting by some genius and show it to you, and you might think it looked like hell, but to him it would look like, great, priceless. This thing is fantastic.
But this is a little harder than being a musician. It's like acting. You have to take on the character of Jimi Hendrix, and that must be tough.
Yeah, it's tough. I just, I don't know if I do it or not, it's just, I leave that up to the crowd.
How long do you think you'll be doing it for?
About an hour and a half.
Is there a possibility of a movie coming out?
Yeah, we might be doing something with the guy that directed The Godfather. His name's Francis Ford Coppola. I worked on part of his movie that's coming out in August called Apocalypse Now. And I guess once we get back to San Francisco, we're going to talk about doing a movie. About, I don't know, either about what I'm doing right now or what we're doing right now and what we hope to do in the future.
Well, best of luck with that, too.
All right.
Thanks again, Randy.